Yes, I imagine that there will be a fair bit
And I hope we get
yelling.
3 games of loud yelling, because I love that. That's what we do.
Exactly. We just got to do some more loud yelling. Okay, we are going to dive into this draft here. As you can see, it's fearless, so we're not going to be seeing any more of these shockwaves finding them all. Instead, it will be once again banned on Taliyah. Last time around, it was Taliyah, Aurora, and Galio taken away. And on the side of Gen.G, they took away the Pantheon, the Varus, and the Azir. And I assume they're likely to continue down this trend, as the Azir definitely needs to be banned given the fact that the Taliyah has been taken away. But instead, it's going to be a Xin Zhao. So the Aurora up and available if they would like to take it. And of course, if they wanted to play things like the Rumble, things like the Gwen, that's why you ban the Aurora, and now feels a little bit less necessary.
Still do think that Aurora is just in a good place right now if you have the execution. I don't think it's really a type of champion that you can just plug and play into any comp. I think it also requires, funnily enough, I think it requires good execution, but if you do, I do feel like the champion has very little counterplay. Yeah, it's one of those champions where the things you can do with it, if you're good, feel kind of unfair because of the mobility, because of the stealth, because of the displacement on many of her abilities, allowing her to always be out of harm's way.
I already wrote in Azir, but instead it's Jarvan.
So they're going to B1 Azir, and then Chovy's going to slam Victor.
Oh, it's a Yone game.
Oh, Sejuani, Yone.
Yeah, it feels like it's down those lines.
I think those are the 2 avenues. We're either going to see like Akali, Sylas, or Yone, or we're going to see Victor.
I hope it's not Victor.
I hope it's not Victor. I really don't think that matchup is anywhere near as good as people have seemingly thought it is. We are obviously...
People have been trying to like that snake oil has been on sale for so long.
Yeah, but people keep buying it, Atlas.
I know.
And we every time we mention, oh, you got to be careful because you'll get if you don't have flash, you'll just get ulted and die.
It's like your people and those tulips, you know. It's the value is only there if the people say it's there, you know. And then you create a bubble and an economics crash, and it's just a disaster. And you'd think that history would have learnt, but it didn't. Okay,
which is why we have Azir versus Victor in 2025.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, very, very, very upsetting.
You're
the one wearing orange. It's all just an elaborate call-out.
That's why I have the Netherlands on the mind.
Oh, Zyra Khan.
Oh, this is
I do love me some Guma carrier Zyra Khan. That is good stuff. I do think it's obviously a hard matchup in lane. There is a lot of pressure that will be applied by the Lucian Braum.
That being said, I mean, this T1 core that they've put together now can be augmented by so many different things, right? Yeah. Like, you could throw whatever kind of potato you want on the top side of the map, especially with the jungle already being shown here as the Skarner. Things like, you know, Trundle aren't going to be coming out from the side of Gen.G. They're probably going to have to ban one of those away. And in fact, it is going to be the first one.
I'm going to say Trundle Poppy. I think those are the 2 bans. I think that Poppy also goes really well with the Azir.
Yep.
T1 is really good at using it. Even though they can't flex it, I think it's also good into the Skarner. So I would really like for that to be the takeaway.
Yep.
Now, I don't think T1 should ban mid laners here because I don't actually think it really matters what Chovy picks. I think that last game also showcased that trying to target Chovy is maybe not the way to go, because it didn't work at all, and it was a lot of resources invested, and it was obviously not really bothered. The Aurora is going to get taken away. As mentioned, I think Aurora is just a top tier pick right now. She is just good.
And I wonder whether, you know, the lack of Sejuani that we're seeing on the side of Gen.G will deter Chovy from the Yone angle, and will make it so that T1 doesn't necessarily have to ban that thing away, as the Nocturne is going to be the other ban. So that Poppy you were talking about is still going to be there. And playing Lucian and Poppy just doesn't feel very good. Outside of that, I guess you're not too worried, although stand beside Braum is going to be a little bit more difficult. We'll see what T1 do decide to go with their final ban. Will it be something like a Yone? They wouldn't be representing very much magic damage at all on the side of Gen.G, so likely that is not going to be a look, and it will instead be the Hui taken away.
I actually like that. I think playing Xayah into Hui is just a very miserable experience. Victor, as mentioned, I think has a lot of innate weaknesses that just won't make you super happy to lock it in. other things that outrange Zaya. We're talking like mid Ziggs. We're talking
I think it's
Zareth.
Ascendant game.
I could see that. I think you do have to wait till 5 though. Keen Sante, just slam it.
Or he just played
Oh.
he is fresh off a nerf on this patch, but it wasn't exactly, you know, backbreaking. And I find it kind of crazy, right? Because I feel like TF is one of these champions that's just never going to be that good in solo queue anymore, just because as soon as you're good at it in pro, it's like ridiculous. So the fact that it even got nerfed is just kind of nuts.
I'm pretty sure he was also in the 0-win club.
He was in the 0-win club
MSI.
Until Game 5 EWC final.
Yeah, I know, and then he did kind of.
And then everyone figured out why he was being picked the whole time.
I want to say, I was at MSI, I should remember this, but I feel like either Chovy or Faker did pick it up at some point and did really well with it. But it was like basically the champion was like 1-11. I think Kalista was winless, and then
TF maybe had one. Yeah,
maybe
it was played by T1 and Gen.G at MSI.
That would make sense, yeah.
Both of them. I don't know whether it was
successful or not.
That successful or anything like that.
It was pulled out.
I know the sentiment was
Jax?
that people didn't like it.
Jax?
Jace?
Jace. Okay, adding some range. I like that.
One of my least favorite Sejuani compositions, although at least now Rakan does work. But otherwise, we're going to hope for some hammer form here from
Sante.
The Jace. And yeah, we're not representing a lot of damage on the side of Gen.G.
No. I've fallen for this trap before. Gen.G doesn't have that much damage.
This is where you're allowed to say it. You're allowed to say it now in the draft.
Okay, because
when the damage graphs come up, you're like, oh well, you know, I guess Cassante is actually a damage.
So
champion.
let's the T1 draft I think is very straightforward. This is an amazing team fighting draft. You have decent amount of pressure towards the top side of the map. I think that what you need to be careful for is early on. I don't think your early skirmishes are quite as strong because you have Braum and Lucian, which are crazy good, and then you have the TF, right? So I do think you need to be careful about how you navigate the early game. You can really easily fall behind if you take a couple of bad skirmishes. When it comes to 5v5 though, this comp is absolutely devastating, has great range, has great damage spread, has a lot of playmaking potential, has good engage, has good it has everything.
Yep. Self-peel as well for Gamushi is fantastic, although when Rapid Fire comes in for TF, being a Xayah just feels terrible.
This comp for Gen.G, if it was any other team, I would think it sucks.
Yeah.
I would just be like, I don't think you have damage. I think these champions they can be okay, but I feel like we're really lacking.
And do you know what the best part is? Exhibit A is the entirety of MSI.
Except when it's Gen.G!
Exactly right. So yeah, I'm also not sold. I would agree with you. I think that Chovy's Twisted Fate is built well and truly different and has evolved over time. This was our example earlier on in the day for a reason. And we'll see whether we're going to look silly with pie on our face after T1 bring us to a third game, or whether it's Gen.G just continuing the trend towards 28 in a row.
There was yelling earlier.
Yeah, I just thought that maybe this time around we'd get there, but we just didn't get there. So
it's okay. It's okay. Right. We still had the yelling.
It might have been that we had them like earlier on or something like that, or maybe there's like a time difference scenario. I'm not entirely sure. It's fine either way. I don't need fan chants, all right?
I actually, I made a post about this as well during MSI. So there are, for me, say that you have the classic scenario like aliens are invading, and we need a setup that wins us a 5v5 league game against the aliens, right? And there were 2 duos that I named.
So it's kind of like the Monster Stars in Space Jam.
Yeah, basically like who would you want when your life is on the line, when everything comes down to it. One of the combos was Guma on Xayah, carry on Rakan. Because I've seen them do truly. The other one was Keen Sante with Kenyan Nidalee.
That's a pretty good one.
Now, we don't have the Nidalee, so I'm a little worried for Gen.G. It's really what I was kind of heading towards.
Yeah, I didn't quite know where you were going, but you did get somewhere. The whole alien invasion thing really threw me for a loop.
Have you never seen that? It's like a very common
Space Jam, yes.
Well, no, but like the sentiment of everything is on the line. Who do you ask to? You know, if I'm...
So like in Game of Thrones where like Tyrion asks for us for a second, Ron comes in and saves
if I was arguing about League of Legends minutia, I would pick Orcs as my champion. And I know you know, like in that way.
Yep.
That's kind of what I'm... what I'm leaning towards. If I needed someone that would make an argument for why Blast Cones suck, we got Brendan Fellas right there.
Yep. I do think that Faker being on Azir is also a pretty good one.
That's maybe
the list. Maybe that's all you'd need. And honestly, T1 has a large selection of things they're pretty used to playing. Owner Sejuani has been up or down, as Canyon is going to pop into this top lane to pay Doran a visit. See whether they do get a flash, and they do. So Doran is going to make his way out, but does have to use a pretty important summoner spell. Now Keen going to be feeling much better in that lane, although he wasn't feeling great earlier on. Bit of a drive-by here by Owner as he moves towards the top side. Has cleared out his entire bottom side, and it is going to be now up to Canyon to head towards his bottom side jungle.
See if Kane is able to use that. The early level is going to be really rough. Post 6, you obviously have a lot more kill threat, so should be looking better afterwards. Canyon, actually interesting pathing here. So full topside player into attempt to gank towards top. Doesn't actually get the wall slam. That could have been the difference maker between actually getting a kill. But without that, not going to be the case. Still gets the flash and isn't really that far behind. Is about like a camp behind, I think, when all is said and done.
Yep.
Although, as I'm looking, doesn't even look like that's really the case. Owner also showing in mid earlier on, as we do have Canyon now done with his Grom. And as expected, Duro and Ruler should have prio in this laning phase for the foreseeable future, unless we see anyone on the Gen.G bot side mess up. But there are a lot of spellbooks as well, I want to highlight that.
Yeah.
So we have the supports, as expected, and then we have TF, as well as Owner as all. Faker.
Yeah, Canyon going to pop on over, but doesn't quite get his claws into the pigeon. So Faker will be able to back away. Owner secures the crab. Crab answered on the bottom side, and Canyon actually waiting a little bit before he takes his blue buff. As you can see, it is still up. So Owner going to be popping over now, looking for a little bit of an entry towards Chovy. We'll be able to find an angle. Let's see whether they can actually get a flash, but Canyon's going to move on over. And now they get the gold card onto the Sejuani just to make sure that these red dots can continue to be consumed by Chovy, stacking that deck over and over again. As I do love that as soon as Chovy won that game on the Twisted Fate, everyone learns all of this intricate stuff about TF just because he was making so much money. The fact that now they understand that loaded dice is actually loaded, and they're like, why does he keep getting 6? It's because that's kind of how the champion is supposed to work.
Look at that face and tell me that doesn't look like a man that you would not want to play in a fair card game. Because there won't be a fair card game, Atlas.
Yep, it's Channing Tatum. Absolutely. You didn't watch the most recent Deadpool and Wolverine movie?
I haven't yet.
He played, what's his face? Never mind, we've got a bit of an engage here towards the bottom side of the map. Ruler dashing on in, but Carrier gets himself out of there. We do have the feathers pulled back, but no one's going to get rooted. So I believe this will be a stalemate. Do get the concussive blows onto Owner, who takes a fair bit of damage, but everyone on Gen.G is looking a little worse for wear. I think now it's time to pull this one back. Okay, never mind. We are coming in for another engage. Canyon looking for a bit of an angle there, throws a rock around, but otherwise it is not too much more.
Good amount of action there towards the bot side of the map. Gonna be favorable for Gen.G. The summoner trade's actually going to benefit them as they only invested the heal, where T1 had to invest flashes for both Kuma and Carrier.
Yeah, kind of crazy that the flash exchange was that bad for T1 as Chovy throws out a gold card in mid.
I think the big thing was that Guma tried to get the recall and failed, right? Like if he gets the recall, then maybe they killed Ruler, but he used his flash, wasn't forced, was voluntary, and did end up costing.
And if you had have got Ruler's flash for it, which is often what you get going for those plays, it could have worked out as flash does come on through. Chovy utilizing his as well feels a little bit less punishing when you can exchange that for a new summoner spell. The teleport comes in from Dura, making his way back to lane. Feels like it's a more action-packed early game, but we've had less kills. It's kind of interesting.
It's been Canyon. Canyon actually been one of the biggest criticisms we've had for him for a long time is that he is just not that active. Keen.
Yep, Owner gonna get that flash.
Nice.
And Doran's just about to come back off cooldown as well, so a kind of big deal, as the Jace will have even a flash advantage on top of the fact that he is having a real good time in lane.
So Canyon's been very active. With the biggest piece of criticism for Canyon, obviously, often is that he isn't that active. But he's been matched by Owner, right? Owner was there in bot to counter the gank timing. Owner now forces the flash towards top side.
Yep.
Also has been hovering around mid. We are seeing a bit of a problem developing, though, which is that, as you highlight, like TF should always be ahead. Probably shouldn't be 2 kills worth of gold 7 minutes in. That is a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah. He's just having a good time.
Does have his ult.
Yeah, I don't think you're killing Keen here. Like, the amount of times we saw Keen, okay, he's gone all out though, as now the Destiny coming towards the top side, and yeah, the Sejuani was here, but she can't save him from that. That is first blood going over to the Cassante, and now Keen's life is way better, yeah. Canyon in position towards this bottom side. They do have vision, they know exactly where he is.
Oh, there's cleanse and heal as well.
Yeah. Okay, let's see whether Grimushin can keep himself alive.
No, Faker's roaming as well. They're like, no.
Yeah, not worth it. Trophy has a Rod of Ages at 7 minutes, 8 minutes.
That's not.
So he'll have that one stacked up. It's going to be low value though, guys, because of course the later levels, the more valuable ones to get, and he'll have it fully stacked before he gets to those later levels. That was first blood.
You're a glass half full kind of guy. I kind of love it.
For T1, and that was a glass half full for T1, and that was sarcasm because Gen.G are pretty happy with the fact that he picks up a full item.
It's also the one big lead that they had was towards the top side of the map, and that kill on Keen is a big deal.
You know how you were saying it's 2 kills worth of gold?
Yeah, it's almost free. Yeah.
So that's the thing. We don't really need to. We'll circle back and we'll have a bit more of a chat about Trophy further down the line.
It's always what do you actually get out of the lead, right? Like,
yep.
But as you highlight, starting to stack your Roa early, I think is really valuable. Just having a full item in general, compared to Faker who's only sitting on components, is a big deal. The grubs were spread 2 to 1. So 1 for Gen.G, 2 for T1.
Yep, and also like, for Twisted Fate, you just kind of want to get to your Rapid Fire Cannon and your Lich Banes and things like this as quickly as possible. I feel like his build adds so much utility to his kit along the way. And so the acceleration in gold really going to be very helpful there. Something we've been talking about for millennia, is what it kind of feels like.
Because he's been virtually unchanged, right?
Yeah.
For the longest time. So we do have Canyon just continuously trying, but maybe gets
oh, there's the Impale. Almost catches him max range, but Faker a little bit faster than Canyon was expecting.
Faker still had his ult as well, so I think Canyon knew, like, if he flashes, it doesn't really do anything. He just wastes his flash. Not going to do that. And we do need to reiterate, T1's comp scales monstrously well. The only
especially into teamfight.
Yeah, the only part that doesn't scale super well is obviously with Jace. And, like, I think even in Jace's case, Jace to me is just one of those champions now that just kind of always is good. Like,
Oh, gonna get exhausted here as he does cleanse it. Carrier looks for the charm, but he gets the flash instead. And honestly, I think T1 are gonna be pretty happy about that. That is 2 summoner spells for the price of none.
Yeah, big mistake there from Ruler, because Dura wasn't around. So he had to play a little bit more safe, did not do so. We do have Canyon maybe looking for a play towards bot side. Guma has his ult, but I think there really is too big of an angle here.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a knock-up on the Canyon, but he's immune to damage is what it looks like. He's got 2 belts, so his pants are well and truly held up.
Maybe he has like one is the pant and the other is like over the chest, like one of the cool belts.
I mean,
like a technical
with this
belt.
skin, you don't even have legs. So
well,
I don't know what the pants are doing, but he does have 2 belts for them.
So it's double cross, you know, like across the chest, and he just has like a bunch of
stuff. No, he's got 2 belts because you need 2 belts around the caterpillar track things that he's got. Oh,
it's
it all makes
different
sense.
Kind of belt. Oh, yep.
It's. I was just thinking about the wrong belt.
I'm sorry I didn't back you up.
Yeah.
Actually, he can have 2 more belts because he also has the things on his arms.
All right, so we need to build more belts. Canyon needs to make sure that he gets a Warmogs on the way.
I also have seen a good amount of Twitter discourse about like actually the optimal. You might not like it, but peak tank performance is just building giant belts.
Well, then it also makes sense because he needs so many belts because he's a machine.
Yup.
It's glorious. Well, Destiny is not exactly kind to Doran here towards the top side of the map as Keen's going all out, Trophy's going all in, and Doran is real dead. That is a kill going over to the Twisted Fate. We were talking about a kill worth of gold. Well, he has that now as Flash is going to be invested here by Duro to get himself out of the way of the Emperor's Divide, but he's still moving forward. Ruler lit on fire here as Ona comes on over with a summoner spell that he didn't have at the beginning of the game.
Love that. Owner with the Aura Ignite.
You love to see it. As Chovy has now parked himself on the top side of the map, and he's going to look to take that one down. That should give T1 a bit of an angle towards this dragon. Bit of a check-in when it comes to feats of strength and how we're doing there. If T1 do manage to take down this dragon, then they'll only need another objective to be able to lock down that portion, as Gen.G 1 kill away from the feats of warfare. And Chovy's getting to work on this turret to the point where we might need to be talking about first turret blood as well. I don't know whether he's going to take it on this push, as that is going to be a Chemtech dragon. Keen finding a little cute, and is going to be eating a bunch of CC and feeling happy about it. As Doran,
not again.
He just got back. He doesn't want the dying spree. Not a dying spree, as that's a bit of a drive-by. It doesn't quite work here for Canyon, as Chovy does find a blue card. Not sure about that one, as Doran's going to be able to take down the Skarner, and it's a disaster here for Gen.G as T1 even out the kills and well and truly strike back.
Carry up the hero that Doran needed, making sure that his top laner stays alive after these continued dives. And now, all of a sudden, T1 is winning on multiple sides of the map. We're able to push in bot, bullying Keen off the turret as Chovy.
Yeah, this is a big deal if they can lock down this kill, and they got 3 people here. He wants to deal with the minions that are in position as he flashes away from his turret, and that is going to mean that he's dead. Cute little gold card towards the end there, but not going to be able to get too much. He still has a massive gold lead, but he's now not on the map. And Gen.G kind of falling apart at the seams. We were talking about the feats of warfare that Gen.G was so close to getting. T1 just claimed it, and now they just need to get another dragon, a herald, something like that. They'll be sitting pretty.
Bit sloppy there for Gen.G because they could have called this off, I think, the moment they spot that Rakan.
Yeah.
But instead, if Canyon just flashes out instead of trying to prime with the ultimate, I think they just get out instead and they're fine. But they try to actually make it work. Timely arrival from Guma to catch there as well, and then I like that T1 also, they know where everyone is on the map, right? They know that Duro and Keen are bot. They just killed Skarner as well as the Lucian, so they can just dive Chovy there. And T1, on an even game state, I'll take them anytime. Every time. The amount of damage this team has is incredible, and we have seen Gen.G play this exact composition in late game, and I think it can be done. It's very poke heavy, right? You just gold card, do some poke, back off.
Yeah, and you can play it in a 1-3-1, things like that. More of a full one, I guess.
There are ways, but by default, if you're T1 and you get the 2 items, you get the free items, you're going to be feeling amazing. You're going to have intense amounts of damage. You're going to have, I think, as long as you actually stick together, not a lot of weak spots, not a lot of people that are easily targeted, right? There's a lot of mobility, there's a lot of beefiness. Really only Doran can be found, and between owner and carry, I don't think they're going to let their body go down that easily.
Just have to see whether Gen.G can find some of that magic, or whether this is indeed going to be that 3-game series that I think we all want.
Would like that.
Especially most of Incheon. As they are all there in the stadium. Let's just see, as Gumayusi taking a lot of damage there, and in fact the culling comes on out here from Ruler. Owner going to be blocking that one, but Gumayusi is out of this fight now. Does have to eat the honey fruit.
Chovy has ult. Gotta be a little careful.
Yeah. Probably doesn't want to use it, because I think Chovy would prefer just to be parked in lane. Does actually throw out the Destiny. Hasn't gated around just yet, as the gold card does come on through, but that is a big cooldown that they now take as he makes his way back towards the rest of his team. Gumayusi does have half of his health bar back up once again, but Canyon has position now on this Rift Herald. It looks like Gen.G might be the ones to claim that one, as Ruler parked in mid is going to put on that extra pressure.
Are they actually going to get it off that? That's crazy.
Kind of ridiculous.
I think T1 is still going to look for the contest, and look, Faker making his way over.
Yeah, let's see whether the pigeon can find the angle, as the Glacial Prison doesn't quite get there, as now Chovy gets the gold card onto Faker. And now for the rest of the fight, Canyon going down extraordinarily low. There's the jungler out of it. Emperor's Divide, not really finding it, but it pushes them out of the pit as Keen. He's gone all out, but he is, in fact, all out. Double knock up there from Carrier as well. Looking fantastic. Ruler frontlining, doesn't want to, as he flashes to get out of the way, and that is Faker on the board with a kill onto Duro that he was looking for before. And Chovy not going to get hit by that grand entrance, but I still think he's in a bit of trouble here, as Ruler wanting to try and catch them off guard, as another gold card is locked in. Wildcard's actually hitting all of them there, as somehow it's Faker that managed to just take down Ruler. Chovy will survive, and T1 limp away.
But T1 gonna be happy with that one. Herald found. Fight 1. Mid lane turret sieged. Possible setup towards the Drake as well. Now the gold lead firmly in their favor.
And a 4-0-2 Xayah as well. Quick Blades now completed. Gumayusi, he's pretty ridiculously good on this champion. And let's have a look at it once again, as this was an awkward fight, you know, it was on all sorts of different fronts, but T1 play it masterfully.
The big thing for me is that Faker zones out together with Guma at the start, 3 of the members of Gen.G. And like, despite some true Keen Sante heroics, he can't actually 1v9, right? Like, that's not a thing that you can do. So he does get taken down eventually by Guma, by Doran. So the setup of the fight is really nice for T1. And if Gen.G can't actually blow up a member individually or poke away, we do see their comp struggle a little bit as Ruler and Chovy try to clutch this fight out, but the flash forward from Guma, not afraid, finds the kill. That's now another Drake going over to T1, and I think thus far we are looking good.
Yeah.
Although Doran might be caught.
This is a really awkward position here as Canyon walks over the wall. They get the information here with the Destiny as there is the Glacial Fissure, and the Emperor's Divide by Faker is glorious as they lock down Chovy. They'll also take the Skarner as well as Gumayusi in a little bit of trouble here as Keen manages to get 1 back, but it's only on to Doran. And T1 are now chasing down the remaining stragglers of Gen.G, and they do it so well with this composition. There's the culling. It doesn't really do too much of anything at all as the Permafrost not going to connect onto Duro there, but he has to flash to get out of the way. And they'll trade Doran for a whole bunch more here as T1 move to 10-4.
And Gen.G is tenacious, but T1 is getting the better end of them anyway. Faker having big impact on this Azir. Consistently finding the plays, and despite the gold lead, which by the way is dwindling.
Yeah. And that gold lead for Chovy is now down to 700. That was more than halved. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, that's the dwindling gold lead.
Oh, that's the gold lead.
Well, there was a lot of dwindling gold leads, Atlas. As we highlighted, very nicely done here. There's no flash for Chovy, so he just ends up dying there. Canyon, even if he hits more people, I don't think it really does anything. Cute there that he gets the wall slam on the Doran. That is funny. And then here, there's the attempt, but I actually think this ult from Keen doesn't quite hit the mark. I think he probably was looking to drag him over the wall, like into the pit, and play from there.
Gets his Feather Storm off cooldown right there.
Right at the wrong time. But also the fact that he basically drags the Xayah towards his team, right?
Yeah.
Not what he was looking for. Also good cleanse there from Guma. I think that might have been just allowing what allowed him to reposition in a way that made that play work. And I think right now, things are looking really good for a game number 3, Atlas. T1, the only thing they need to ensure is don't throw out Otacon. I think that's really it. You have an incredibly scaling composition. Be careful about the side lanes. Gen.G do still have a lot of burst on single members if they can zone someone off. But you can see, so T1, they're deathballing, and I think they should.
Yeah, it's working. Carrier does move into this tri-brush. They get control vision in the area. The Otacon,
this is just gone.
Just going down, and Gen.G no real right to head over there. The vision is paramount, and they have none of it. And so Gen.G just going to settle with an outer turret in mid.
Guma and Carrier on the Xayah and Rakan. The team fighting of these two has been incredible.
Look for this as Ona comes on over, they clear out the wave. Concussive blows, and nothing really happens here as that was a cleanse of the air from Chovy.
Come on, bro, you gotta trust Duro. Trust your buddy. Duro would never, would never let that hit you.
I mean, the hitbox of the Glacial Prison is a bit funky.
It's
so
about,
maybe that was
Atlas,
why.
It's about trust. If you ever tell me I'm gonna catch that skill shot for you,
yeah, exactly.
I would trust you blind. I'd probably die because of it, but it'd be worth it.
And I tell you, you should have cleansed. Anyway, T1 going to be able to secure their blue buff and now look to put more pressure on the map. And it's so hard now as Gen.G's composition to play the game because look at Chovy. He is running away from the minion wave. That is precisely not what you want to be doing as the Twisted Fate. You want to continue that pressure as much as possible. And if you do have control of the map, then you can utilize it. In this case, he absolutely cannot.
It's just rough. Now you're getting perma-slowed by the Azir. There are 3 targets you need to deal with because all of them have enough damage to carry a team fight. There is great front line, great engage, this T1 composition. I think we saw in the early game what could go wrong. Some of the picks kind of highlighted how Gen.G would like to play. But here, I think we're going to need to see both a crazy Gen.G team fight And I think it comes down to, does Guma live? If Guma gets taken out somehow by the Keen Sante, or Chovy finds a crazy flank, maybe that can be something. But realistically, T1 should be able to get themselves to Soul Point here. And is the Soul the biggest deal? Not really, but for Gen.G's comp, trying to actually chew through some of extra damage resistance is still nice. There's that RFC, but I don't know if it's going to be enough.
Oh, trying to get himself out of here. Does manage to dash away. Holds onto the flash for the moment. 50% of his health is now missing.
Oof.
It's a tough one as T1 just continue this relentless pressure. Chovy has found a lane, but look at this. The poke onto Ruler is just kind of gigantic, and the rest of T1 just continuing to push forward. They'll take down this inner turret very comfortably with 4 members. And Canyon just not quite here in time, trying to alleviate anything as Keen comes on over. And is trying to defend against Faker's push, but it is unrelenting. Does take a lot of damage here from the Keen Sante as the Emperor's Divide is going to have to be employed. That means that T1 do not have that if there is going to be a bit of a team fight. The Glacial Prison also was thrown out earlier on as Carrier looks for a bit of an angle here, gets the charm onto Chovy. So T1 not really hard committing as it's a fight for a Gromp, guys. There's the Destiny, and okay, Chovy thinks that this is maybe an angle. Shifting Sands does get Faker out of there, and remember, this is 3 items onto Chovy now. Maybe it's an opportunity, but you can see the culling just kind of hitting the air, and now T1, they can back away if they'd like to. Would they like a team fight? That is our question, but without the Emperor's Divide, perhaps they do not want it.
Well, Gen.G is slow playing this. Do have Doran probably looking for a base and immediately TPing back. There's a good amount of flank angles behind them.
Yep, there is a Mega Cone here as well for Chovy if you'd like to utilize it.
Oh, Doran.
Yep, there is the teleport in as Doran diving on top of Keen here as Chovy holding onto this gold card for such a long time. Carrier comes on over, and there is the all-out. It is going to be the secure on the Dragon with that unsealed spellbook from Duro as Canyon's just going to drive his way out as best he can. Down goes Doran as Gen.G, they slow down Carrier as well, and I don't think he's long for this world as the Ardent Blaze will be able to tag him, so he's not going to be executing himself just yet. And so Gen.G able to deny the soul and will also find themselves, could you call it a fight? I guess you could call it a fight.
I'm kind of in awe that that worked.
I guess it's the power of no Emperor's Divide for a while.
So there's a lot of layers to it. There's the, Chovy might be dead. So there's the power of no Emperor's Divide. There is also T1. We keep talking about how good their fight is. That is in a front-to-back scenario where you have Owner and Carrier standing for. This is a skirmish. Like, this is a broken-up, messy fight. And Gen.G are simultaneously forcing T1 to respond to Dragon. Because if T1 fully commit to either side, I think they have a large angle to win the fight, even without the ultimate. But instead, Chovy and Keen are 2v2ing Doran and Carrier. They're going to win that, right? Like, between the TF and the Keen Sante, that's no biggie. And then on the other end,
if it was any other Cassante, that would have been a very difficult fight.
Oh, I think that might have been rough. But
maybe not Dundon.
Don't remind me, bro. I don't want to. That's like a whole nother conversation. I don't. He's in the LEC now, you know. Which is nice.
He's thriving, you know. It's
well, let's not talk about all reliable, okay? It's too much. But he did teach us that Gromp is important as Gen.G startup Nash.
Yeah, this is what they learned from T1.
Just Nash.
They just start up the Baron. If you notice, Chovy finding an angle, or did T1 find a Chovy? Chovy kind of knew that this was what was happening. He doesn't have an arm guard, so he's just dead. And now the quickness goes all over the rest of Gen.G. Can they find it? No, they cannot. The Emperor's Divide throws them into the mix. And now, Ona trying to dash his way out. Ruler is doing a decent job, but Gumayushi just getting on in there. My God, he slaughters them. It's a triple kill for the Zyre, and T1 say, well, I guess we'll take a Baron.
Maybe if you have Flash and Zhonya's Chovy. Oh, Kane's gonna die, isn't he? I've seen these before. Jonah Strong, I know what's coming.
Hey, no, but he got the Raptor. Actually, I don't even, like, Doran doesn't have a whole lot of health.
No, I actually...
If it was just Doran,
he
didn't know that it was just Doran.
He has a lot of whisper. It would have been fine.
Huh.
My only read is, like, I don't know. Like, because you know where everyone is. Yeah, it's not even like he TP.
Yeah.
You know where everyone is. Chovy just goes too deep. The response from T1 is, and this is the front to back. Look at this. We have Guma and Faker doing damage. Owner and Carrier at the front. Then a beautiful ult from him. And then Ruler actually does take down Carrier. Is trying to make a play, and then Guma just flashes in. Does a really good job. gets all the damage out.
I think Faker's disappointed that Chovy died so early because it was a 5-man shockwave in game 1, but there were only 4 alive to hit with the Emperor's Divide in game 2.
Yup.
Oh, it's completely unfair.
Not cool.
It would have been 5 if Chovy hadn't have just sort of gated his way into death. Okay? So we'll give them an even on that front.
It's classic Chovy, you know, he's just calibrating how to make more plays. That one is going in the data set as not it.
Yeah, it was not quite it.
That was not it. I do think it was already a Hail Mary, right? Starting the Baron in the first place, trying to look for that turn, but
he can make the play now. He's got his arm guard.
Well, the game is done now, so I think the game was already in a rough spot. That play was, don't get me wrong, that play was bad. I think the fact that they started up Nash kind of shows that Gen.G also knows that they're a little cooked.
Area getting that sick cleanse.
Yeah, this game is looking mighty over, and I love that, Atlas.
Yeah.
That's good, because that means
the series ain't over.
Which I love. There we have gotten max games for Gen.G T1 in what, the last...
How many has it been? Because it was the 2 at MSI.
So it was both at MSI. They didn't face in road to MSI. I think round robin 2 was a 2-0. I think round robin 1 was incredible, but round robin 2 I remember being a bit of a letdown.
Yeah, it wasn't super hard.
Not this one, Atlas.
Not this time around as we move into our first ever round 3. So we get a zoom in on the gold card being collected by the bird that was flapping away. So that's not going to eventuate in anything at all. Bounties now up and available here if Gen.G can ever get out of their base, but I just don't know whether that's ever happening. 20 seconds on this Dragon would be soul point for either team.
So they don't have to play for the next raid because they got the last one, which is nice, thanks to Duro's Smite. But
maybe they will anyway.
Well, I hope they don't, because they're also playing it. But to what end is what I ask you, Atlas? Because
like dead Nexus.
Well, do you really want this game to go? Like, what are you playing for? There's not. Normally, in these type of situations, there's like...
I mean, that's a much deeper question than you may think, because this team's already qualified for Worlds, so what are they playing for, Chronicler? To keep the streak alive!
Yeah, but they've been in interviews and they're like, yeah, we don't really care, we just want to play well.
Yeah, no.
Which I tend to believe.
I mean, these are competitors. If they had the mindset of, I guess we take a holiday now, then they wouldn't be the players
They wouldn't be on the streak, yeah. There is also, that statement is then always followed up by, we just want to do well at Worlds, which... That's everyone.
Yep.
That's how it goes.
It is something that they haven't quite managed to achieve just yet.
Need a Hail Mary here. Maybe a multi-man ult from Canyon. Otherwise, we go into game 3.
Oh, there's the Destiny to come in there as they found Canyon on the flank. He only gets Owner with the ulti. As now Gumiishi is in a little bit of trouble, but he's got the Featherstorm. He's buying so much time. And the Emperor's Divide to get him out of there as well. Ruler is the one that's down so low as they trade 80 carries. As now Keen dives in, but he cannot pick anyone up. And it's Doran finding his revenge. He'll also get cleansed. Everything is fine. And now Chovy and Duro versus the world as the teleport to get Chovy out of there will be interrupted by Owner. As Doran says, yeah, we are going to a game 3 and I'm going to take us there by destroying these Nexus turrets. And he's getting some revenge after being bullied earlier on. These health bars aren't going down as fast as they really wanted to as Chovy flashes out of the grand entrance. And we're just going to zoom in here on Doran booping down this Nexus with his hammer. Gets the gun out there as well just to show that it can transform. That was real cute. There's a demonstration of that 50 gold that I was talking about that is very, very important to bring us to game 3.